The sky never stopped roaring. Ice shattered against stone and bone alike, slicing the air in white sheets of pain. Imagine a world where every step is a gamble, where hailstones as large as fists rain from the heavens without mercy. What would it mean for fragile human ancestors, thin-skinned and small, to endure a sky that turned against them? This is not a story of comfort, but of survival. A legend carved in storm and ice. Through the frozen grasslands of East Africa, a band of Australopithecus hunch low, their fur damp with meltwater, their stone tools clutched tight in trembling hands. The storm hammers the earth, each shard of ice cracking like bone. A mother shields her infant beneath the curve of her arm. A father drags branches toward a shallow depression where others crouch together, pressing their bodies for warmth. Their breaths rise in frantic bursts, visible like ghosts against the iron sky. The storm defines their every movement. When the hail weakens for a moment, they seize the chance to move. The group flows across the tundra-like plain, feet sinking into mud and half-frozen grass. Ahead lies a cluster of boulders, jagged stones jutting upward like teeth, promising shelter. But between them and the rocks, a carcass sprawls, the half-frozen body of a giant antelope. Hunger gnaws louder than fear. The leader, scarred across his brow, signals with sharp gestures. They rush forward, hacking with crude flakes of stone, tearing strips of frozen flesh to chew before the sky reawakens its fury. But they are not alone. From the storm's mist emerges another band, silhouettes, moving low eyes, glinting hands clutching sharpened sticks. Rival Australopithecus, drawn by the same hunger, the same desperation. Both tribes halt the air thick with more than ice. For a moment, the storm itself seems to wait, as if watching the choice of fragile beings who dare to challenge the sky. A crack of thunder shatters hesitation. The rival band lunges, shrieking with primal rage. Stone meets stick, bone meets bone. The carcass becomes the center of a brutal ballet, bodies sliding in mud fists, swinging teeth bared. The infant cries from the rocks where its mother crouches, her hands clutching leaves to shield its tiny head from falling ice. Every blow is desperate, every cry torn from throats raw with cold. Then the storm returns, doubling its force. Hailstones hammer down larger now, forcing both tribes to break apart. The rival band flees toward the forest's edge, while the scarred leader's people drag scraps of meat back to the stone cluster. Victory is not won by strength, but by endurance, by refusing to yield to the sky's wrath. Inside the rocky hollow they huddle. Meltwater drips from the walls, forming rivulets in the mud. They chew the frozen flesh, slowly feeding the children, first passing shreds of meat, hand to hand. Outside, the storm howls like a predator denied its prey. The tribe endures their unity forged sharper than stone. But the storm has only begun, and survival will demand more than endurance. The night falls heavy, but darkness offers no mercy. The storm rages on, battering the land with ice that clatters against stone like the endless beat of a war drum. Within the rocky hollow, the tribe curls close, the youngest pressed at the center of the circle. The scarred leader crouches at the entrance, shoulders hunched against the freezing gusts, scanning the shadows for movement. His eyes catch the shimmer of something alive. Not another rival tribe this time, but something older, more primal. The silhouette of a saber-toothed cat, its fur flecked with frost, its long fangs glinting like ivory blades beneath the pale flash of lightning. The cat circles the hollow, its paws sinking silently into the sludge of melting hail, The storm has weakened its hunger, but not its instinct. The tribe stiffens. Mothers clutch infants tighter, young males grip their crude stone flakes, but their bodies tremble. None are strong enough to face the beast in open combat. The scarred leader lifts a burning branch salvaged from an earlier fire, its ember dim but alive. He thrusts it into the night sparks flying against the icy air. The cat growls eyes, glowing in the gloom caught between its hunger and its fear of flame. Then the storm itself intervenes. A crack of thunder booms so close it shakes the ground, and a fresh volley of hail pelts the plain. The saber-tooth retreats its growl, swallowed by the roar of falling ice. The leader lowers the branch, but his chest still heaves with the adrenaline of near death. The tribe exhales in unison, their survival bought once again not by strength, but by the chaos of the sky. At dawn, the world looks shattered. Ice covers the grasslands in glittering shards, trees bent and broken under the weight of frozen stones. The tribe emerges shivering, but alive. They move as one body, gathering what little the storm has spared leaves to wrap water roots, to chew stones to sharpen. The children, wide-eyed, mimic the adults, learning through imitation the rituals of survival. In this world, even play becomes preparation for death. But hunger gnaws still, and the carcass from yesterday is gone. The leader gestures toward the river, swollen from meltwater and choked with floating debris. It is a dangerous path, but water promises fish, and fish promise life. The tribe journeys there, slipping through the icy mud, crossing open plains with cautious eyes on the horizon. Their movements are slow, deliberate bodies, bent low against gusts of wind that drive needles of hail into exposed skin. At the riverbank, they find both opportunity and peril. Fish writhe in shallow pools trapped by broken branches and chunks of ice. The tribe plunges in hands, grabbing stones, striking children, squealing as slippery bodies flip into baskets woven from reeds. But the scent of flesh and blood carries far. From the trees, a rival tribe reappears, the same silhouettes from before, gaunt with hunger and eyes gleaming with desperation. There is no storm now to force retreat. The rivals descend, sticks, raised voices howling across the frozen water. The scarred leader's tribe forms a wall, children hidden behind mothers gripping stones, young males raising sharpened shards of flint. The clash is inevitable. The river becomes a battlefield of survival, where every splash, every strike, is both defense and defiance. With mud, and the air fills with primal cries. Stones clash against sticks, fists swing, and bodies grapple, each tribe fighting not for dominance, but for survival itself. The scarred leader hurls a rock that cracks against an enemy's shoulder, sending him sprawling into the freezing shallows. A mother, clutching her infant with one arm, drives a sharpened branch into the mud to block the charge of another rival. The river itself becomes a weapon, its current sweeping weaker fighters off balance, dragging them downstream in a spray of hail-fed foam. Then, as quickly as violence began, the storm returns. The sky darkens, and hail descends again, hammering both tribes into submission. The rivals break, first scattering into the trees, their cries fading into the roar of ice and thunder. The scarred leader's tribe stands bloodied but unbroken, clutching their hard-won fish and dragging their wounded back to the shelter of the rocks. Victory is fleeting, but survival is sacred. Inside the hollow, the tribe tends to its injured. One woman presses chewed herbs into a gash to slow the bleeding. Children sip water gathered in folded leaves. Fire is coaxed from smoldering embers, a fragile glow that defies the cold storm outside. They eat together, passing fish from hand to hand, their faces lit by firelight and the occasional flash of lightning beyond. Laughter, faint but real, rises among them as a child mimics the growl of the saber-tooth from the night before. In that moment, fear loosens its grip, and unity becomes their greatest weapon. The storm finally begins to break the sky, revealing patches of pale blue through thinning clouds. The land is scarred, but the tribe lives. They gather their tools, lift their infants, and begin to move away from the shattered plains toward the promise of caves etched into the hills beyond the river. Their footprints press into the melting ice, each step a defiance of nature's fury. Each gesture a link in the chain of survival that will one day lead to us. Their story is not about conquest. It is about endurance. Against endless hail, against fangs in the dark, against hunger and rivals they endured. And in enduring, they carved a place in a world that wanted them gone. Their survival was not guaranteed, but their unity gave them power. This is the legend of humanity's earliest storms and the beginning of every story that came after.